Okay.
Action.
Take two.
3. The first
Two.
one was private.
Oh, that's right. No, it's still going on.
All right.
But now we're starting fresh.
So we're here. Hello, Facebook.
Do you want to tell them what happened? Just, since we are 10 minutes late.
I'm an idiot.
No, you don't have to go you. You could say that we, as a team.
We are using a different camera tonight that has settings that are imported, and I had it as a private show, so none of you could watch this amazing stuff. So thank you for everyone for joining us. It's Sunday. It's October 21st.
You are.
I'm not Ron Furman.
That's right. You're not. But you are.
I am Ellie Miron.
Oh, that's
He
very nice.
is Ron. You are Ron Furman.
I am. Nice to see you all.
Nice to be seen.
Today
nice
is
to be live.
Today is Banter Day.
It's banter babbling day, right?
Banter babbling day, and we were literally talking to ourselves for the last 10 minutes.
Literally,
like we were actually having a show that was just for us.
It was good. You missed a good show.
The truth is, we did have some good things. We talked about apples. We talked about so it's International Apple Day.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I didn't think that Apple Day would be on October 21st. You think it's something in September?
I'm just saying, apples get harvested a little later. Usually the sweeter ones kind of come around now.
I understand.
Yeah.
But for some reason in my mind, I keep thinking about apples in September.
We don't pick the days. The days are given to us.
You know what? It's funny you say that. I was always wondering, who picks these days?
Right?
Is there like a vote and it's different days for different countries?
I have no idea.
Like, I get the Independence Day, clearly.
That would make sense, yeah.
But it's
New Year's Day.
But it's like National Pumpkin?
It's National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day.
Now, I love cheesecake.
And
although I don't eat much cake at all.
Right.
But I love cheesecake. But pumpkin cheesecake?
Don't like pumpkin. Pumpkin seed, okay.
Pumpkin seeds are great.
So then can I tell them?
You may, yeah, sure.
They don't want it.
Of course.
So my kid says to me today, Dad, when we carved the pumpkin last year, it smelled like diarrhea.
So now you're associating diarrhea.
So now I'm associating diarrhea, pumpkin, and now pumpkin cheesecake. All 3 together. You're welcome.
And now you've given that information to at least 7 people who are watching at this moment in time.
It's amazing.
Very good, very good. And again, I was asking you before, like, how many smells, like, does he actually know that, like, you went right away to, like, this smells like diarrhea?
And again, you don't argue with a 5-year-old's logic reasoning. They just give it at face value. They come up with beautiful things.
But yet it affects you, you said.
Oh, it's hilarious.
Oh, okay. But does it affect you, meaning, like, now can you eat pumpkin?
You know what I can't eat?
What?
Cinnamon.
Ah, yes, I did ruin it for you.
You totally ruined it.
I did ruin
pumpkin, I can eat pumpkin. I don't like pumpkin. So truthfully, I never have been. Like, I don't like pumpkin pie. I like the pumpkin seed. There's this treat we have at home lately. If you guys, maybe you had it, the bark bites or something. It's like chocolate, bark, like strips of like dark chocolate.
Okay.
But they're embedded with like pretzel or almonds. So there's one with pumpkin seeds.
When was the last time you had it?
Recent.
How's the diet going?
Look, the diet's going. It doesn't have to go every day.
Actually, it does.
Natalie says it's so good. You know what I'm talking about, Natalie. That stuff is good. Mike, what's up?
I've never had that before.
You've never had it before?
I've never had it before. No.
But even chocolate bark, like chocolate. So it's just this idea that it's like kind of flattened out, but it's a little bit thicker chunks. Really, what they did was they made one huge chocolate bar and they smashed it into pieces and threw it in a bag.
Is it like mekupelet, but it comes like in a
No,
solid
it's
piece?
not mekupelet. So for people who know mekupelet, it's you're thinking about.
We call
like
the Ethiopian lady. That's the Ethiopian old lady. No, that was the nickname as a kid. That was it.
Letters courtesy Ron
No, it's
Furman.
like we're going by.
It is available at Costco. It's true. But these are.
I caught you off guard with that one.
Totally.
I can see already.
Like, what are you talking about?
Right.
No, they're. So imagine if you made like a proper flat chocolate bar and you stuffed it with whatever, embedded with almonds or whatever, pumpkin seeds. And then I'm convinced they let it hard, and then they just go and they like smack it on the floor, bust it into pieces, stick it in a bag. There you go, broken pieces.
Why don't you just bring it next time? I'll try it for the sake, because I don't think I've ever had it before.
Sure. Because I want me to feed you chocolate.
No, and again, I'm
Are
not
you
upset
because I had chocolate on our diet?
Nah, I'm not upset at you at all. I'm going to be winning, so why would I be upset? Keep
think we're
eating.
all-
Keep eating. Keep enjoy. Eat your sandwiches. I think I asked you about your diet just to see how good I'm doing.
How good are you doing?
The truth is, I have been cheating here and there.
Oh, yeah?
Yes, I have, which is really, really bad.
Cheater, pumpkin eater.
Pumpkin seed eater.
There you go.
But I've been somewhat strict on many days. So meaning like I don't eat that much carbs, but the other day I sat at a friend's house and I brought Timbits, and I think I ate almost the entire box myself. Yeah. So that was pretty bad. Yeah, so I should never be buying Timbits.
No,
I shouldn't be.
I like Nat giving us the breakdown on how the bark is made.
Oh, thank you, Nat.
With a meat mallet.
I want to go to a factory now.
If it's a meat mallet, it's clearly not a kosher chocolate.
No.
Yeah.
What else do we have on the agenda?
On the agenda, we have a challenge, but we're going to save it for the end.
Why don't you tell them a little bit about it beforehand so they're a little prepped?
A little prepped. So straight up, I changed the thing. I know what you're seeing and I know what I'm seeing. That's not the thing. And I changed the thing. That's wrong.
That is hilarious.
So I did it right, and that rundown is wrong.
So what do we do about that?
I have no idea.
I'm not even looking over there because I'm trying to ignore it.
I'm just looking, and I'm like, that's the wrong rundown.
That's the run. You know,
that's from like 2 weeks ago.
Do you have any idea how many times I've done this rundown already? And this is why we're going to be doing this challenge.
I think. Audience, do you believe in karma? Do you believe in kismet?
Wait, are you saying
in a higher being way? Yes.
Wait a second.
Yes.
This is against me?
Yes.
You made the mistake.
No, wait. Let me explain.
Oh my
God. Yeah. Oh, this is the bus? And right under. That's where you just went. Right under. Straight up. Now I'm going to explain why. So here's the deal. We always try and come up with ideas and talk to you.
I'm a little shocked by you right now. This was your karma card? Okay, all right, we'll go.
I pressed the button the right way.
Okay,
all right. You guys don't know what we're talking about. Let me fill you in. So we were discussing show topics, right? We always want to keep this fresh and engaging, and we want to push boundaries. But we want to do things that you guys want to hear, and so we had a disagreement about what the topics should be.
And I love the pitch. So it's basically, let me give you a little bit more information.
No, wait, hold on.
I'll allow it.
I'm not done. I'm just saying.
I feel like a judge. I'll allow it. Go ahead.
No, listen. They don't need to.
Why? I love the way you painted it. You painted it like,
No.
we care about what you guys
We
want to hear.
We do.
Right.
I do.
But it's, our show is a little bit about, the news. The things that are important.
Of course.
I don't want to talk about pedophiles all the time, but if that's what comes up in the news, that's
so I'm just saying, there was some subject matter that he told me we're going to be talking about, and I said, I don't want to talk about that. Yeah. And we had a disagreement.
We did have a disagreement.
And we're entitled to, right? Correct. And it's going to happen. Correct. Like any perfect marriage.
But it happened the day before the shoot. Meaning, and we have a deadline.
They don't need all the dirty laundry.
They need to know that.
All the laundry?
Well, that part is a very important part. Okay. So Ron has created the
template already. Listen, the point is, Ron created the template. And then he worked, and you worked hard on it. I didn't say you didn't work hard on it. I never said that, and I appreciate it. I just say, blah, 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 boring is what they're telling us. At the end of the day, this stuff on the side is not what you worked on. Mm-hmm. And we've tried it 3 times now.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, maybe it's because it wasn't supposed to be there in the first place.
Do you want me to tell people what it was?
Don't really care. No.
No? You think it will still be offensive?
Yeah, I think.
Okay, fine. We'll move on. But
look,
we decided to settle this the man way.
Yeah, we're gonna have an arm wrestle challenge.
Right?
Yeah.
That's how men settle things.
Well, yeah. It was better than punching each other in the face.
Yeah.
So
who goes first?
I don't know.
I'll allow you to go first.
No. We'll arm wrestle, but so stay tuned. That'll be at the end.
Okay.
So, but our topics are sadly that is not the correct agenda. I do apologize. I don't know. That is a technical difficulty because it's in our templates, but we can't see it. So, anyway, what we want to talk about...
Well, it's Babbling Day, and it
is Babbling Day.
It's also...
Which we've been doing a lot.
Nacho Day.
That's nacho cheese. Mm-hmm. Nacho cheese.
Again, I want to find out whether it's an American thing or the Mexicans came up with it being Nacho Day. Because I have a feeling, for some reason, like some Americans said, let's make today Nacho Day. No?
I don't know.
Okay, anyways, I want to know what's going on. So, why don't we go to the rundown? What's wrong? Why
I'm trying to read some. There's some drama happening in the comments thing. I'm just confused. I can't, guys. Don't fight. It's just a show.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. We never fight. We don't really fight. We're gonna arm wrestle, and we're gonna solve it that way, like men.
And I'll probably win.
My God, you're killing me here. Please go to the rundown.
All right. So the rundown. So look, our first topic, we titled it actually "Stand on Guard for Thweed." And like for thee with Thweed, a little play on words. There's a news story going on recently about border guards in the States being deployed now on the Canadian border in larger numbers because apparently a greater influx of illegal immigrants trying to cross in from Canada. America, for those of you who don't know, typically has border concerns from the south with their neighbors, Mexico. And
so, what do you think? They're going to sneak in weed into the United States?
So there was a feeling that, like, especially since the whole legalization piece started to come around, there was this definite fear of like more and more byproduct, if you will, coming through their unguarded walls. I mean, we have a lot of borderland in terms of pockets with which we could cross illegally.
Right.
So many places apparently throughout this entire two nations.
But I didn't think that weed would be that big of a problem, like through the border. I don't think that's really what they're worried about.
No, but but I think they're worried about as like anything else, like their paranoia of having, refugees coming from different countries. One would argue that our border is open to anybody. So
I would say that,
come on down, Charlie Brown.
Until 2019.
Yeah, well,
and hopefully that will change.
We'll see what happens. But the point is that some countries that America has closed themselves off to, people are in fact now applying to come to Canada and are allegedly making attempts to get into the States, whether for whatever reason.
Do you feel that Canada is safe? I mean, because America's clearly worried about stuff.
Are we safe?
I don't think they're worried too much about the weed. I think that's just an excuse.
Yeah, I think it's an excuse just to deploy more numbers up at the front. Are we safe? I guess it depends on what way. Like, should we be seen as a threat, you mean? Or are we safe? Is our safety at risk?
Because our safety is at risk.
I think our safety is at risk. We've seen that recently anyway with all the, if you look at the things, the Danforth shooter, the van driver earlier this summer. Like, it's...
Yeah, but if you notice, but those things, they're never saying that it's anything to do with terrorism. They're talking about these are just some crazy people.
Well, you got to be living in some kind of rock not to think that it's terrorism.
Well, the van guy, technically not terrorism. I'll go there. But the Danforth one is.
But if we're talking about international, look, we're all at risk. We live in a heightened state, but I don't know that.
But do you feel that way? I mean, like,
I don't
feel that way. When I go to Israel, even though it's somewhat of a safe place, especially if you live like within the major cities.
Yeah.
I feel the danger a lot more than living in Canada, but I can feel it coming. Like I could see that when we start to push things to the side, when we give excuses to certain people, then it becomes a problem. I think that's what's going to make us unsafe.
I think when you think about it, like, you mentioned Israel, like I remember going to malls and stuff and being stopped by security checkpoints to the parking lot, to the I don't feel that way.
Yeah,
Here, that makes me feel unsafe. That makes me feel unsafe.
Yeah.
That makes me feel on edge.
Israel's like living in the airport.
Yeah, I don't feel that way. So I think we're doing okay.
Okay.
But it was I just thought it was interesting to bring up that here we are, like these are our brothers to the south for so many years and the relations, and here we are because ironically the timing of it all, again, like you said, it's an excuse. Weed is legal, so we're going to bring it over by the boatload, truckload, whatever.
I think it's more about, in my opinion, the dispute between Trudeau and Trump. I think it's more about them. I think that, because we both know, even though, again, I'm not the biggest critic of Trump, I could say he's egotistical and he's got issues. There's no question. There's something clearly wrong with him.
Yeah. And president.
Yeah, but you know what? I could say that about most presidents, to be quite honest. But this one is, but this is a little bit more visual.
Let's be honest. You have to have a certain kind of crazy to want to be in charge.
100%, or especially to deal with all these problems.
Yeah.
To deal with like all these American voters and playing the game, and I mean politics is trash. I hate it.
All right. Let's move on.
Move on, yeah.
So this kind of second heading kind of applies to what you want to talk about,
right?
But it was originally called Paul Rolled, and you wanted to explain that one.
Yeah. So this is something we had a little bit of a disagreement. I love how you threw it to me and you made this face. I love you because I already know your face. And you're like, Ron, why do I want to talk about Paul Bernardo?
Yep.
And I'm like, well, I don't want to talk about Paul Bernardo, but the situation is he was supposed to be receiving parole, right? Or he was applying for parole.
He was eligible to start applying.
To apply for parole. No, and they rejected it. Not applying for parole. He wanted to get parole.
he was eligible to apply for the first time ever.
Right,
That was the
and he
whole
got rejected, and
Right.
which I think is fantastic. You know,
Yes.
this person should, in my opinion, not breathe my air. This is a horrible person. But fine, we have a justice system that's taking care of it, and we're not going to really get into it. But what I will say is that this situation is something to be talked about, and I'll tell you why. No.
I'm listening.
I understand.
I'm not saying anything.
So we're looking at Paul Bernardo, who raped two or three women, right, and killed them, as someone horrific, as a monster. And yet some of us are looking at people who are coming from, representative of ISIS, who want to come back into Canada and say, well, let's welcome them back. They're our citizens, and let's work with them in order to change the perception about terrorism, right? That's what Trudeau wants to do.
Right.
And you're talking about ISIS murderers who are raping and maiming people like back in the Middle East. And now we're welcoming them into the country, as opposed to having them rot in jail the same way that Paul Bernardo is, or receive a death penalty. And I don't think that we should be looking at at these ISIS people as like, well, just because it's happening over there, we shouldn't be as concerned. Because if we're looking at numbers, the stuff that they admit to the fact that what they were doing in Syria and Iraq was horrific, and to a point where they all of a sudden became victim of their own people because they weren't crazy enough. So that's why they want to run back and come back to Canada. And Canada, in some ways, is opening their arms and saying, please come join us. And I think there's something terribly wrong where someone like Paul Bernardo is seen as like this horrific person, which he is, but these people are not. And in my opinion, the only reason that this is happening is because of this whole thing about Islamophobia, where we're afraid to talk about things relating to anything relating to Islam. Now, I'm not making this an Islamic thing. I'm making this a terrorist thing. We're not talking about specifically about, Islam as a religion or the people. We're talking about ISIS murderers that we know exactly what they were doing. And yet for some reason, the president, the prime minister of Canada is sitting there saying, well, we need to rehabilitate them and we need to expose them to society and they could be a great example. I mean, there's something terribly wrong with that idea.
Listen, of course, if you're going to go off and commit a crime anywhere,
right,
then you need to be held to account. Whether it's a justice system, if you commit a crime abroad, or if you're doing something here and you can get extradited and come home. And I know that there is a talk about the Ford government put a bill, or they're going to put a bill forward that wants to strip rights from anyone who may fall under this umbrella that you were talking about.
Okay.
I just read it today, so I don't have it referenced exactly from memory, but there is basically the idea
what type of rights?
So the idea would be like to take away in Ontario, so if you were, for example, the ISIS fighter
if I belong to ISIS,
right, and you come back,
you're going to take away my rights.
So we're going to take, the Ford government is proposing to take away things like access to health care. No no-hit for you. No, nothing really that's sort of like a tax-based service.
Okay.
Voting rights.
So I have a question for you.
Municipal, provincial or municipal voting rights.
How do you feel about this?
Look, it's a tricky one. I think for sure, listen, these people are terrorists. They're not interested in living in our society. They're not interested in our way of life. Anybody that, for whatever reason, was brainwashed enough to literally pick up, and that's the part I still kind of don't understand, was you were living a certain life here, you knew how things work here, whether you were born into or you brought over, whatever your circumstances are, you were a Canadian, you lived the Canadian lifestyle. Suddenly at some point this situation goes off and you've been tapped into thinking that this jihadist way of life is the only way and option, and everyone's evil. So going over, committing acts of terror, fighting against your own country, killing people, God knows what else, and then realizing, yeah, you know what, this is not really the lifestyle for me.
Right.
I kind of made a oops, and I'd like to come back home. No, I'm not okay with that.
No, but what you just mentioned right now is that they're taking away their rights.
No, what they wanted to do was propose, well, because theoretically they're Canadian
They need to
citizens.
take everything away from them. That's
Right.
my point.
No, but
These people
what I'm
should go
saying
right,
is-
literally from the plane,
Yeah, but
right to prison.
But they can't.
No questions asked.
So they can't necessarily. I think
Not like, oh, you can't vote, sir. What does he care about that he can't vote? He doesn't care about this country.
No,
anyways.
not just voting, but he can't have OHIP. He can't
can't
have
have
other
OHIP.
housing. He can't have
Great.
all these things.
Great.
So make it not worthwhile for you to
No.
live here.
put the guy in prison.
I'm
this
not
guy
saying don't.
deserves. This guy is a murderer. It doesn't matter where you murder somebody.
Why do we have to pay for that? On the tax dollar.
Pay for that? You're going to be paying for it in other ways if you don't put him in prison. Someone like that in our society.
I'm saying don't let him come back.
It's gonna. No, bring him back. Put him in jail.
No.
Or
he went over there. Let him go over there and live over there and enjoy.
I don't know. I think the fact that he's a citizen of our country, we should punish him. We're the ones that are liable for him. We're the ones that need to bring him in.
Anyway,
but wait. Natalie was saying something. Natalie, she was saying that no option for rehabilitation. I read it before. But,
okay.
So yes, of course, rehabilitation. But we're talking about ISIS murderers. We're not talking about somebody who just made a tiny mistake and he feels bad about it. We're talking about people who are murdering. They decided to go, to the Middle East and commit these acts of terror. They decided to rape and kill people. Yeah, and who wouldn't want to be rehabilitated? To come to Canada and say, "Oh, Canada will take care of me. I'm still a citizen of that country."
Well, so there was that issue back in, I think it was in Lebanon, right? There was a group of refugees that came to Canada when Syria was engaging over there a couple years ago. And you had these Lebanese citizens that happened to have Canadian paperwork, but they basically just, at one point...
Were they terrorists? No. Did we have information about them? We're talking about people that clearly have information.
I'm just saying.
Not somebody saying, well, you're from a terrorist area, then you must be one. These are people who are claiming that
hold on, let me finish. What I'm saying is people, but the greater issue also becomes the responsibility of the Canadian government to Canadian citizens. That doesn't go away, right? What do you do when a citizen commits a crime like murder and rape? So what do you do? So officially, my understanding is that when you commit a crime overseas, abroad, internationally, depending on the relationships between the two governments, you can either extradite, bring them back here to face justice in our own system,
right?
Because they're Canadian citizens,
right?
Or you can agree to allow them to face the consequences of the justice system wherever they are.
Okay,
but it's up to the either nation state to decide what the justice will be. So I guess the question becomes that these people who are potentially facing death, execution, which again, it's the business they chose.
Yeah,
that's the karma they get.
Absolutely.
The Canadian government is currently proposing an idea to step in and say, no, let's bring him back here.
No, but that's the thing. It's not about, let's bring him back here. Let's bring him back here and put them in prison is what they should be talking about. They need to be punished. Not let's bring him back here and let's say, oh, you know what? They're not going to get housing. They're going to have a hard life. But that's going to motivate this person to be a great citizen.
No, that's going to motivate the person not to join, maybe, is the thinking. I'm not saying it's good thinking. I'm just saying that the strategy behind it is to say, look, we're not going to support you. We're not going to allow you to come back here and think that you're going to return back life to normal. So even after you pay for your crime, pay for your time, doesn't matter. You were convicted under these sections of the criminal code. That's it. Your freedoms, as far as you were concerned, are over. That's the proposal, as I understood it, by the Ford government.
Yeah, but again, it doesn't serve anybody.
It doesn't
serve. That's not justice, in my opinion.
I think it's an attempt to realize to say, look, I can't control the federal immigration laws of this country, but I can control who's going to benefit what from here. I think it's a power play between.
I see your point where you're talking about.
I'm not saying it's a good strategy.
From Ontario's point of view, I understand exactly what you're saying.
That's all it is.
But we're talking from a federal point, right? They're not coming into Ontario. Ontario is not. It doesn't run the country.
No, but they're coming everywhere. They're setting into our population and putting people at risk.
All right. I know you didn't want to talk about that, so thank you for getting into it.
Let's talk about the fasten your seatbelt. This is what this one should say, not reforming liberal labor reform. This one's called Fasten Your Seatbelt. So there was a story, I don't know, maybe you saw it. It was sort of Facebook on social media rounds. This kid, 14 years old in the States, I want to say somewhere in Arizona, he stole his mom's car.
Teenager
thing, right?
I never did it, but
hold on. So she catches him, but let me get to this part in a second. So what he did now was he disabled the security cameras around the house, cut the Wi-Fi out, killed the cameras, took the car. Turns out it was a black BMW sporty little ride. Went to go pick up his girlfriend. Went to go pick up a friend. The mom realized what's going on, calls the dad, and his sister catches a lot of this on camera, and some of this was going viral. where the mom basically got into her truck. And they figured
I
out
love that you got into a truck.
Yeah, it was like
awesome.
an Escalade. I was trying to figure out what the vehicles were.
Mm-hmm.
So they figured out that he has to go, like, in order to get from A to B, he's going to have to go down this road at one point.
Mm-hmm.
So they kind of hurried out to that part, cut him off at the pass, okay? Real Southern style charm. They driving, they see the kid. She's honking furiously. She pulls him over. She says to her daughter, and the daughter is filming this, "Give me the belt." She takes her belt, and she gets out of the car, and you can hear the daughter say, "Bye." Like, it's over.
Yeah.
She opens the door, and she starts whipping him with the belt. And furiously, like, must have been 7 or 8 cracks at it. Get out of the car.
That's it?
That's what was caught on camera. I don't know. I haven't seen if there are other clips out there. That's all I saw.
I used to have a belt with my name on it when I was
So
a kid.
and then of course the fury becomes, is this mother in trouble now for beating her kid? Does she have to go to jail for beating her kid? Should she be facing any crimes? Is she a hero? Where do you stand on this? And I guess I kind of look at it like I also had a personal story with it in the sense of a long time ago. I went with a friend, and it was his parents' car. His parents were away for a couple of hours or whatever, and he was like, "Hey, want to go for a ride?" And he knew where the keys were, and he got the keys, and we got in the car, and just like the neighborhood, we didn't go anywhere crazy. And I just remember thinking, like, it's exciting and fear at the same time, and thinking like, if his dad would have caught us, I guarantee you we both would have had belts. If my parents would have found out, they probably found out now. Sorry, Mom.
My parents used to like try out their belts. I want to know if this leather works. Like my dad would like hit me with belts for
unquestionably,
years.
we come from a different age and time.
That's right.
And what's acceptable and not.
That's right.
But the reality is, this kid, like, he perpetrated a very methodical crime. He knew what he was doing. There's no question he didn't know what he was doing. To cut the Wi-Fi feed and like, knock out the cameras and this, like, that's a really.
So are you upset that she beat up a genius?
I don't think so.
Is that what you're upset about?
No, I thought it was like, good for you, Mom. Like, kick his butt,
Okay, because I didn't really ask you your opinion with regards to this article and
No.
why you wanted me to talk about it.
I just thought, listen, because there's all this feeling about discipline and this idea that, like, listen, it's abuse, and let's be clear, I am not okay, and I don't believe in corporal punishment. I don't believe in taking a belt and smack. But I got a smack, you get a smack, we all got a smack. You learn not to do it.
Absolutely.
I guarantee you this kid's going to learn never so much as look at the car keys.
I don't know. It depends how many hits he's going to get on YouTube. Right? All of a sudden he's going to do something else.
So that's the thing. No, I don't think no one ever saw the kid. From the video clips that I saw, she just basically opens it. It's like a dash cam almost looking like you just see the other car and she's like, "Get out!" And she's like, and then just like furiously like whacking at him inside the car.
So you're a parent, and how do you feel about like hitting your kids, or a parent hitting kids? Like, is it anytime appropriate? Is there a specific place where you can hit them, or smack them in the bum?
Look, I think when you hit a kid, you've lost control in the sense of a communication. It's a communication breakdown. Has it ever happened? Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
And your kid is 5.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. And
but
so,
I'm not talking about hitting with a belt.
No.
You crazy? Like, never.
Well, you're not talking about it. That doesn't mean it doesn't happen.
It never happened.
Again, I would talk about it because I'm an adult now. I used to think my name was Levi's for like many years. It was like I used to be beaten up with this belt.
Listen, I remember, like, I used to pick on my sister. She's watching. She'll tell you. We used to, like, nudge each other in the back of the car. My dad's driving. She's complaining. And it's like, quiet.
You used to have long arm?
Yeah, long arm.
Long arm,
hit the back, boom, boom.
My dad was long arm and my mom was scratch and pinch.
No,
like they used to work as a tag team together. I used to love it.
So we get that, right? And I learned to more or less leave her alone.
Yeah, but how many times were you beaten up throughout your life?
No, never.
Never?
No.
Really?
Yeah.
No. That's why.
That's right.
Yeah, it explains a lot.
Explains a lot. My parents like me.
Yeah, it's true. Well, you can understand.
Yeah,
why.
I totally understand why.
My parents used to beat me quite a bit.
So I just thought, it's interesting, like in this, especially in this day and age where everything is on camera, like knowing that like literally your daughter filmed you, she was laughing the whole time.
Of course, her brother's getting caught.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
That'd be funny.
But the whole idea of like, now that there's going to be a quarrel of people saying that, what about his rights? But like, if you think about it at the same time, listen, it's a private family matter to one degree, the sense of how they're going to discipline their kids.
Right.
I don't think it's okay with a belt. I understand the rage, the fury, the frustration, the danger. Listen, he could have killed himself. He could have killed somebody else.
Absolutely.
Right? But that's a total breakdown loss. But they went out hunting for him.
There were times where I thought I was like saying, if the cops catch me, I'm good. If my dad catches me, I'm in a bad situation.
Right.
Right. So
I just think it's just different timing now.
Yeah, but that's the thing. Like, we can't even talk about beating up kids. I don't have my own kids, and I don't really beat up kids. But what I'm saying is, sometimes you need a spanking. Like, I know I got one, and I think it's needed. But meh.
That's interesting. Meh.
Yeah, meh.
All right.
Next.
This one was supposed to be titled "Mean Girls."
It's funny. It's supposed to be. I'm like, it says Mean Girls. I'm like,
down
not
here,
on
up
that.
there.
Yes. Mean Girls. It's a real life.
Tell us about Mean Girls. You found this.
So yeah, I found this article, and it's basically dealing with the times, certain things that I'm sort of afraid of today. And there was a boy in, I believe it was Seneca Valley, and people didn't like him in school. He was just the teachers hated him, the principal hated him,
right.
All the kids. And some girls came up with an idea. And their idea was that they're going to frame this kid and say that he tried to rape them. And they all had different stories, and they were explaining it to a T, like where they were, and it sounded great, and crocodile tears were going on. And this, I'm not going to say poor kid, because I don't know how bad of a person was he, but poor kid for this specific reason.
To have this happen.
To have this, wait. And not only did those mean girls went really far to try and get him in trouble. By the way, he got kicked out of school, among other things.
Yeah.
But the school worked with the kids. That's how badly they wanted him out of that school.
That just sounds like some crazy movie, right? Like, I mean, it's insane to think about that.
But this is where like people say, like, would a woman lie about stuff like this, or would somebody lie? And it's like, what would stop someone from lying? People lie all the time.
Right.
Why not about something like that? If you want something bad enough, you would lie.
Listen,
that's just how we are.
People lie about everything.
That's right. So now, going back to different conversation we've had before, where if a woman's talking about about rape, then yes, of course you need to listen to her. Of course you need to hear it out, and at that moment in time she is the victim, and with sensitivity and all. But it's her story, right? That's just her story. That doesn't make it fact.
Again, so like if you're referencing back to like the Kavanaugh thing that we.
Well, not just the Kavanaugh, just in general, where people are like. Look, if you pick up the news, you'll see that almost every other person,
but the reality is
being charged being sued for.
I think that we also have to weigh the reality, right?
Right.
That history for so long has shown us that women have been just
100%,
unquestionably like
100%.
Brutalized. Right?
You're not going to get an argument out of me on this one.
So we owe anyone that comes forward with a story like that, and I say story, but when anyone comes forward with an accusation, with a claim, with a story, whatever it is. You need to listen. You need to hear.
You need to hear.
But the fact that they got exposed for lying, and manipulating, and the school is involved.
The school is involved. From the article, the school is involved in it too.
That's crazy.
Yeah, that they were hiding some information because they didn't want this kid to come back. So kind of like, okay, great,
So they just withheld stuff. They
Correct. Well, that's participating.
But they colluded actively?
From what the article stated was that the school was aware of what was actually going on. So if they were
the school
aware,
knew the truth, but they chose to
that's right. Oh, there you go. He's out. Yeah. Yeah, and forget it. Even if
there's
the school didn't know.
And there's a lot of information not to have to understand what and how and where all that it took place, but still, that's just insane.
That's mean, and that's why again, Mean Girls. But what?
No, I get it. I get the play on words.
But it's horrible because when you think about it, like I remember, Trump was saying something, and they were making fun of him online, on all those shows. But they're like, men are now becoming the victim, and I'm not taking anything away from women being victimized, back in the day, and even now. No one's taking away. But if a man says, "Look, I feel like I'm a victim," we shouldn't say, "Well, look how long we've been suffering." That's not fixing anything. You got to look at each issue as the issue
Maybe
itself.
I don't think
That's the only way to progress.
No,
to
but
put everybody in the same
but the
level, and
problem
not
is-
saying, "Well, they've been suffering a lot, so we'll give them this one."
Blood is blood. Suffering is suffering. It's not the same thing. You can't. My suffering is worse than your suffering, so I should feel. It's not
But
the same. But
that's
the
how people
reality.
look at it in
No,
some
people
ways.
do. People do make those equations, which are false. But at the same time, I think you got to look at it like what this really does more than anything else is this totally subverts people from coming forward who need to come forward because it's the right thing to do because they have been victims,
Right.
and people don't know and should find out. And then when you hear about, when this is a planted story, fake everything, that's horrible, right?
Yeah.
And they should be prosecuted completely. And I can't believe, I'm stunned that.
No, but
that
my
happened.
question is, I wonder how many of these types of stories
are
actually out there.
Out there,
right? Because
I'd be willing to bet a lot more than we think, a lot more than we care to realize. Like it's for a number of reasons. People seek attention. Like it's like those kidnap situations where it turns out that it's the parent,
Yeah,
or
right, of
the
course.
relative or whatever, right? Like
Right.
they're people are crazy. People are crazy,
and that's what we need to understand. So everything needs to be on a case by case situation, and not put everything under one blanket.
Well, yes and no. I think that that's what we try and do with our justice system. But
We
you have
don't.
to-
We don't, because if you're in the public eye, we don't. Not anymore. Because of social media, because of media, you're guilty before you're even getting the opportunity to prove yourself. Right away, people don't want to
But then
associate
when you
with
live in the time of Trump, I don't think it helps any easier, right? When you have someone who's a predator and he's in charge.
But you think
It just says messages. Hey, look, here's your reward. You get
Wait,
to run the country.
So I have a question for you, and again, every time I do this, it feels like I'm like defending Trump. Let's move Trump away. But like, did you feel the same way when Clinton was around and he was like a known predator? Like, how many accusations were
I
against
thought
him?
that he should have
Been
forced-
impeached?
Well, or whatever.
But did you look at him?
Did
Did you look at him the same way? Like, here you have a person who was actually like a predator.
I think the
Actually a
difference
womanizer,
between-
like did all that stuff.
So
and you
I
have
think-
a person who
All right.
says horrible things.
Yeah. So I think
no questions
look,
asked.
The difference between the two. No, the difference between the two is one is a lot slicker at
Being a politician.
and charming people, and he's got that, I
Yeah.
know
So
he's
that-
something
so that-
with you.
yeah.
And then that like that makes you not forget, but that makes you kind of like, oh, set it aside. It's like, who's the creepier whatever. It's hard, like.
But just because he hides it better, because
I'm not
the
saying
Clintons
he
are coming to
rewarded.
Canada.
Look,
The
he
Clintons are
should've-
coming to Canada soon,
Right.
And they're charging an arm and a leg for those tickets.
They come. Listen,
Raising money. We
Look.
know exactly what they're doing with the money, with their
Right.
foundation,
Yeah.
what's happening in Haiti.
And so
we
at
know about
some
his
point-
past.
look, and
we know
at
so much
some point-
information, and yet we're still.
But you know what? Here's the
Bill
difference.
Clinton.
No, but here's the difference. I know it's going to sound like I'm going to defend him, but in a way, yes, in a way, no. What I'm saying is, at one point, he was held to account. He had to go through this close to being impeached. The vote was there. The numbers were practically there.
Yeah.
Like, he was put to task. He was brought out in front of the media.
Right.
He was held to account. Now, he lied. And who knows what actually happened between
Right.
him and those women? And
No,
at
but
the end of the day-
he talked about one woman,
One,
Monica
two.
Lewinsky. How many people came forward and said that he did stuff to them?
Right.
I mean, when he was a governor in Arkansas, and he still became, the president of the United States.
But
And
here's the thing:
they
they tried to impeach him. They tried to get him out. For whatever reason, it failed. That has not happened.
But what about him now? Yeah, but what are you going to impeach him for? You're going to impeach him for saying that let's touch somebody's.
He shouldn't have been voted in.
Why? Because he said what he said. That's his
Because you
reason.
knew it, and you had the precedent.
That's the
much like you
reason?
had, much like the whole reason why Kavanaugh shouldn't have been confirmed is because you had
But
Clarence Thomas.
we all have something though.
The idea is that we're
all of
not
us
learning
have
from
something-
history.
But all of us
But
have
we're not
something
learning
that's
from history.
no. All of us have something that's wrong. You're not perfect. If I walked into your house with a microscope, I'm going to be able to see a lot of things.
Right.
Okay. You come to my house, you'll be able to see a lot of things. But
That's not the same thing.
no, it does, because that doesn't mean that's who the person is just because on what he says and how we act sometimes. We all act foolish sometimes. That doesn't mean this is who
Acting
we are.
foolish is one thing.
You're talking about a rich billionaire, and how many billionaires out there, flaunt their money around and talk about things?
Purposely flaunting the fact that I violated people's rights or the law or some combination thereof, and I'm going to get away with it because of my rich billionaire status. That's
you know what? The only thing is he's stupid for saying it.
He's
an idiot for saying it.
He's an idiot for saying it.
Yeah, he's an idiot for saying it.
And they're idiots for voting for him.
You think that's the reason? Okay, there you go. Don't vote for him because of that. All right. Well,
the last topic before we get into our big cactus, small cactus, and just very quickly on the idea because we are getting pressed for time, is Halloween.
That's what you wrote?
Yeah. We were hollow as in empty. I don't know if you know, fans, but there's yet another Halloween sequel. Jamie Lee Curtis, the whole cast got back together, and I remember seeing a preview. And I'm not a fan of horror movies, not because they're scary. I don't believe any of them scary at all. I don't like the genre. It just feels like it's kind of dumb.
We agree on that.
Yeah,
I'm not a fan.
So, but the idea that oh my god, from all the possible things you're gonna make, and listen, I like my share of sequels, but to me it just screams of there's nothing. You've got nothing to come up with. So you're gonna go back. You're gonna get now that 30 years later, and he's still killing the Come on.
But that's the thing. They don't want to reintroduce a new story because, okay, here's another new story, and they're trying to get people what's the other one that became really popular with the
Friday the 13th?
No. A newer one. The one with the
Saw?
Saw, right?
Terrible.
Right, but the idea was great. Purge. Those ideas were great, and they're figured, okay, we can make many sequels out of this.
Yeah.
Halloween, it's kind of you know what? We're going to bring back some people. We still have an audience. People know the characters. Yeah. They know Michael Myers, not the actor. They know all that type of stuff. So they're going to come in, they're going to buy a ticket.
I'm wondering if it's I'll put it out to the audience and maybe yourself as well, obviously. Is it like going to see an old band that shouldn't be touring anymore?
You know what?
Still touring?
What a great example. What a great example.
But
here's the difference. This is a band that wasn't that great.
Right. That's the part.
That's the
because
problem.
I would if you told me the Rolling Stones are coming to town again for the last time again, I'd probably go watch it again.
Right.
Or I'd like to try. I'd be interested, right? To whatever extent.
But that's it. It's all about marketing. That's really what they're doing.
But this movie business of
the entire movie business is saturated with stuff. I mean, honestly, when Rocky V came out, right, and Rocky V was horrible. I was like, okay, that's it. You've killed it. You've killed the series. And then they came up with Rocky VI, and I was like, Rocky VI is incredible. And then Rocky VII, just as good.
There wasn't a Rocky VII. It was Creed.
No, called Creed, but neither. Actually, I think also Rocky VI wasn't called Rocky VI either.
No, it was called Rocky Balboa.
There you go. So you see, it wasn't called that. And what was the first one? Was the first one Rocky?
Just Rocky.
Just Rocky. Okay. But anyways, it's all a part of the series.
But
we love it because we're interested in the character. We want to be able to see him more.
True, and that's a little more sadly based on a lot of reality when you look at guys like George Foreman who were coming back in their 50s and trying to box again. So I was like, okay, well, let's take this guy that this character that they just beloved, this underdog. I mean, I'm not trying to I guess I am in a way defending Rocky over Halloween, but I think it's also just a different concept. It's something you can relate to. We all age. We all
no, but the difference is Rocky.
We don't all get chased by axe-wielding murderers.
Also, Rocky won an Academy Award.
Right.
We need to remember this.
Let's start there.
Right, and you're talking about Halloween, which wasn't a great movie. Like today, I was at my sister's house for a few minutes, and they were watching the original Friday the 13th. By the way, I didn't even know that Kevin Bacon was in it. All of a sudden, I'm like, what? Kevin Bacon's in it?
Kevin Bacon's in everything.
I know, but back in the 80s, he was.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, I watched it. It was horrible. I was like, how could somebody say you know what? This is good. We're gonna do about 50 more of these.
Look, it's interesting when you come into a genre and you know that people like to be scared. You know that people have this idea of adventure or fear or whatever. It's like watching these body cam, and IMAX and things. It's not for everyone, but the people do like it and they want to watch it. So I understand why it got made. I don't know why you needed 17 parts to it.
Again, if they're making money, so they clearly made money from the last one, and they're making money off of this one. It's all about money, and that's what really Hollywood's about. They literally diarrhea. Like when we started, it's like no, but that's what that's what they're putting out. Like if you look at almost all the movies, it's all number 3, number 4. Like they're not coming up with new ideas anymore. And when there is a new idea, that's the one that's nominated for an Oscar,
or it's the one you never heard of.
Right. Well, it's funny because the independent scene That's where you're seeing the really good stuff.
Yeah.
Whereas studios, for them, it's just a money machine.
No, listen, but I'm a fan. I'm gonna go watch James Bond 25. Like I don't, it's different. And there's a genre for it.
Yeah.
I agree. But at some point, you're just sitting there going like, okay.
But here's the thing. There's also
we haven't seen him.
There's also more
ski down a avalanche-laden volcano.
But there's also more of a storyline, right? There's a little bit more.
Well,
it's a
so
theme.
there's depth.
Yeah.
Right. And there's how much depth you have to a mask-wielding,
Right.
knife-wielding murderer.
But I'm sure there are people who want to see it. I'm sure there are.
Not me.
I want to see it, like the next one.
Oh.
Yeah. What? What's this? I didn't get the drum.
Drum roll, like a pun. You made a pun there, but then you want to see it.
Oh yeah, no, I want. Yeah, actually, I wasn't. No, I didn't. I didn't tell a joke. It just happened.
Yeah,
but I want to see it. I think the first one I thought was really good. And
Really?
Yeah, I thought it was really good. No, you didn't like it?
You're talking about the recent version.
The recent version I thought was pretty good.
My brother-in-law was in that.
You really? He
Yeah.
was an extra in it?
An extra.
No, I figured.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I know he does
He was
extras.
the balloon.
He was the balloon.
No, I don't.
No, really? Was it really shot in Toronto? I had no idea it was shot in Toronto because I looked at it and it was shot somewhere in Canada, but like up
No, in
north.
Toronto. They went
yeah?
went to a house or something.
Anyways, it was pretty good.
Show me the house where they filmed it.
It was a pretty good movie. All right, so we're gonna go to let's do it. We're gonna go down to
The big cactus, small cactus, and then we got our challenge. So stay tuned for that. We're gonna arm wrestle, and I'll probably
all two
win.
people. Make sure you stay tuned and to see that
I'll
we're
probably
gonna be. I'd love for you to win.
I'd like to win
yeah?
too.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Why not? You won the water drinking competition.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like how you joked and laughed at the water drinking competition.
Right, because yeah, but arm wrestling. I can't wait. I can't wait. So
can't
what would the winner get?
Pride.
Pride? That's it? That's all? I want to win
You get an
something.
audience. You win, you beat me, you beat me.
All right.
You win, you win. The win is a win.
A
What's
win
not
is a
good
win.
enough for you?
Okay. No, I want something else.
can
I
dance.
Want dance? So you'll dance
I
for me
won't dance
if
for
I
you.
win?
Never chance.
Okay.
So you can dance.
Okay, so what
All
are,
right,
what are the
big
topics?
cactus, small cactus. So look, we're very simply because we are going pressed for time here. The legalization of marijuana has come through October 17th. It was a big day in this country.
I was posting
much
some-
ado about nothing.
Yeah, I was posting some pictures, like kind of, just funny pictures the day before.
That-
Like
that's- that was funny.
Foggy Toronto.
Foggy Toronto.
And I wrote the date.
Yeah, October 17th.
But in reality, everybody.
12:01 a.m. Right?
No, but nobody. I didn't. First of
No,
all, I
but
didn't smell it anywhere.
I did.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't smell it anywhere. Well, I am in Thornhill, so.
No, so I was downtown. I
Okay.
went to the Raptors game. It was a home opener that night, and walking downtown, and it smelled like skunk, like this nasty stink, and I just thought. I turned to my friend. I was like, now this is gonna happen. This is what we're gonna have. It's gonna smell all the time. So it could be this like it didn't smell.
But that's the thing. It smelled before.
Yeah,
you
but
would
like
go
it's
out to
an
a club,
added
you
smell.
Yeah, you're right.
Some smells you become
You're right.
accustomed to. Some
Yeah.
smells you're like, that's a new smell.
No,
Right?
it's new to you, but yes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I hate the smell of cigarettes, for example. I can't stand it.
So I just felt like it was kind of like, but it was interesting. Like it took an hour for the law to be like legal before someone actually got pulled over apparently for driving under intoxication rules. But like people were making this big deal, and
Is it the same thing with when Canada came out with a rule that women were allowed to walk topless? And everybody got all excited about it. All the
boys got.
I did. I got really excited. I was like, you know what? Yeah,
whoa.
we needed to approve this a long time ago.
And then you see the first one, and she
it's-
was like the hippie from the '60s
Well,
original.
yeah, 'cause she's the
she
one that-
burns her bra. And
There
it's
you
like,
go.
yeah. It was
She's
like
never
kinda-
worn a bra since she burned it back in the
burnt,
60s.
and I was like,
But no, it wasn't even that. It's like people are not even utilizing it. That's not fair. You go to Wasaga Beach, you expect to see a little bit more.
I think it's also they were kind of smart. October it's kind of get cold and the weather's been weird, so you're kind of inside, not really outside. So I think you'll wait till the summer and you'll see like a resurgence or something.
We're talking about boobs still?
Boobs, weed. I don't know what we're talking about.
Resurgent. All right.
All right, the NBA.
Yeah. So that's
NBA. Like, do you care the fact that it's Golden State gonna probably win it again? Is it gonna ruin it for you?
For me,
big
no.
Deal, big deal.
Oh,
by the way, was big cactus, no cactus on the weed? Small cactus, right?
I think truth. Big cactus as the idea.
Yeah.
Small cactus as the act itself.
I'm with you.
What really happened?
All right, so NBA, big cactus, small cactus. The fact that we know who's going to be the champs.
Look, the reality is, I think that there's a lot more depth right now this season for almost every team. But yeah, Golden State should win it all. I mean, it's a no-brainer that they would win the finals.
So is that a big deal though for you? Is the NBA?
I don't know. I'm
diminished.
still a fan of the sport. Like yesterday, there was the Rockets versus LA.
Yeah.
LeBron James. LeBron James is in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
So especially if you're going to a big city, the good cities are doing well. Like well, not New York, but
Toronto Raptors are the best team in the league right now.
With what, 3-0?
3-0.
Fantastic.
Hey.
But you got like Boston, that's a good team. There's a big market. You have Los Angeles.
Yeah.
There's a big market. Toronto, big market in Canada.
Right.
You know, all that's missing. Philadelphia, great team.
Right.
And I think that's helping the sport.
I think,
and they all have big names.
And you asked me earlier, like, does it? So I, you know, as a Raptors fan, I want my team to do well. I have no illusions. I don't think they could beat Golden State. I think they could
Win a
push
game?
Golden State. I think they could even win 2 games.
2 games?
I think they could.
Really?
I think they could. I don't know that they will. I think they could.
In the
and
playoffs?
I think the games would be relatively close. But
I don't know.
I'm
think watching the games
they would
now.
lose,
They're not
but
even trying.
I don't think they'd lose by like more than 10 or 12. I don't think it would be a blowout.
So that's the thing. I'm
Right?
actually a Golden State fan.
Yeah.
I'm not a bandwagoner. I've been liking them for years.
You have.
Montello Ellis was there, and you know all these other players. But nonetheless, I just feel like NBA is still fun to watch. I think that it's still competitive. It's still great. You have so many more superstars.
Yeah.
Like back in the day, there were maybe like 10 superstars. Now there's like 40 superstars.
It's more talent is more diluted
Yeah,
for sure.
So that's why I think it's not really ruining it. But yes, it's going to be another Golden State year.
That's the thing. It's becoming more of an individual game that you know who's going to win. Like if you took hockey as an example, you don't know who's going to win. You have no
I'm a
idea.
Golden State fan, Sean Sitzman, so you need to understand why I'm not ruined. But I also love competition, and like the Rockets versus the Laker game yesterday.
got you finally.
That was great. I actually saw him the other day.
Good entertainment is good entertainment. Good
Yeah.
game is good game. Whoever it is, but I don't think that the Raptors are on. You know,
Okay, so Sean, you're not realistic. Toronto can take Golden State.
they can. They've beaten them before.
When in the playoffs?
No.
Stop it, guys. Not regular season. Enough. All right.
The
World Series.
Meh. Big cactus, small cactus.
See, I think that it's kind of a big cactus in some ways.
Yeah.
Because it is the World Series, and you have LA and you have Boston. You have 2 huge markets, which is fantastic. But I feel like if Toronto's not in it, I don't care that much personally.
Yeah, you're not invested.
I'm not that invested. I don't. No, I don't think it's such a big deal.
I think it's a big deal. I think what's a big deal is that David Price finally did something and
he won. Yeah,
and
he
got
won one game.
and he got the team in there, right?
Yeah,
like that was the win.
Well, not just him.
Well,
all the home runs that the other team
JD
had.
Martinez didn't hurt either, but,
Right.
But at the end of the day, like you know, he would have to do his part, and he
But
was able to
I have a
perform.
beef with the name World Series. I never understood that. The world doesn't play.
Right.
Like, so why is it the World Series? Like, I get it. Okay, fine. The best
market.
players from the world. Yeah, I get it. But I never
Best players
understood why.
in the world. It was the only kind of its caliber at the time, right?
No, Japan had like
Japan didn't have when
and South
the
America
World Series,
they had.
Excuse me, when the World Series was founded, someone fact checked me on this one. I'm pretty positive to say
No.
Japan wasn't playing baseball.
No,
back then.
but that's the thing. So even worse, why call it World Series when you're not even
Because
playing with the
that's
entire world?
American.
Oh, there you go.
You know,
There you go. Pride, American pride.
We'll call it
Okay,
pride.
we'll go with that. And the last one is.
The
What did I write?
journalist in Saudi.
Okay, I see how excited you are. So this is
this is how you like
look
suck the air out of the room.
It's okay. This is how we're going to do an arm wrestle later. The journalist situation, the Turkish journalist who was
He
decapitated.
was a Saudi journalist.
Sorry?
Wasn't he a Saudi? He's a Saudi that was covering the royal family, but he was in Turkey
Yes,
for whatever
I-
reason, and he was in the Saudi embassy in Turkey.
Yes.
And he was alleged to have been murdered and by Saudi.
Yeah, they
nationals.
chopped him into pieces. I mean, I have like some weird pictures that I found.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, I'm not going to show it to you, but
It's clearly a big cactus.
it's a big cactus. But like, do you think that this thing is going to ruin relations between the United States
and that's the question.
or
you
the
wanna
West?
focus on.
Yeah, the West
And so-
Saudi Arabia,
so-
because we're seeing Saudi Arabia.
So do we need to? I will tell you why it will not.
Okay,
Not even that.
not even that.
No.
I'd like to know. Gas.
9/11.
9/11. Oh, if it didn't hurt them in
It
9/11,
didn't hurt you then. It ain't
it's not
gonna
gonna
hurt you now. There's nothing that they could do or say. That relationship is beyond reproach. You know, if I were you, that guy wouldn't. I might go missing tomorrow. Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. Look, I think that at the end of the day, you look at
I think I'm better off if I talk about Clinton. Maybe I'd be go missing tomorrow.
Yeah, no, look,
rather than the Saudis.
it's a huge deal, and this is a massive problem from a number of levels. But I think on the question of how this will affect relations between the two countries. You're looking at it, nothing's happening. Today I think Trump kind of turned around and started to backpedal ever so slightly, but that's just because it's what he reads off the toilet. Whatever advice he gets when he's twitting, that's shit twitting.
I got it.
Yeah.
Toileting.
Yeah.
Okay, beautiful. So, comes to the end of the show.
End of the show.
And so we had a disagreement.
Yeah.
Just to bring people out. We had a serious disagreement to a point where...
we disagreed.
We disagreed. And we got a little bit... moving everything
It
around.
got
a little heated.
It was a little bit of heat.
And we figured, how do we solve this? Now, we can argue about it. We can bring it to
By the
life.
way, you figured this. We didn't really discuss this, but I'm not going to back away from this.
Figure what?
You just said this is how we're going to do it.
Oh, yeah, because I figured how... Well, we're going to talk about it still. I just didn't want to talk about it before the show. We still have to resolve the issue. However, we are going to deal with it like men. And that's right. We're not going to punch each other in the face, but we are going to arm wrestle.
We're going to have an arm wrestle. But
Yeah.
we got to be like, I think we're going to have to like...
So why do I do this? We can do a little bit of a setup. People know that we're about to arm wrestle, so we can move this table around.
Yeah.
Right? And we can still clearly see ourselves on the screen. So let me just, maybe I'm getting out of frame.
That's okay.
All right.
All right.
People can see a little bit.
We'll see what's happening here.
Okay. I'm going to move into frame.
Into frame. Frame. Maybe we should sit like, no, this is a horrible...
Well...
Oh, I'm not in the frame.
You're not in frame, but now you are in frame.
All right.
Okay, so what do you guys think about this? That we're actually going to arm wrestle in order to resolve the issue. And would this resolve the issue, or is this the most immature thing that we've ever done?
Probably one of
one of many to come too. But
look at all the stuff you have.
Yeah, it's called decorations for the table, and finally people can see it. So
you wash this thing?
No. So put our hands down. Okay.
All right, and then are we?
Oh, you can do
now,
it.
so hang on. So now, wait. Now we're just gonna 1, 2, 3, go. Can I do that? Can I do this? I want to go over the top.
You just keep it there. And
oh wait, you're holding onto the table?
Well, usually you grab onto something. You can grab onto.
Okay, so. He's like,
no, I'll allow you to go.
No, wait.
So wait, we need to know, are there bets? Like, so...
I think Ron is going to kick Ellie's ass.
No, we'll see.
Listen.
All right,
so hold, now I like just a second. For the record, I'm not making. No, I don't care.
I'll put it over here.
I don't care.
I'll put it over here.
No.
You can grab one. I'll put it over here.
No, then I'll do what you do.
Okay,
that's fine.
Whenever you're ready.
All right.
We'll do 1,
2,
2, 3.
Whoa! I'm not down.
Well, you're down already.
Why are you moving my arm around?
Put it down wherever you want.
Oh, he's strong.
Put it down. Go ahead. Go. 1, 2, 3.
Oh, hey.
No,
wow.
Technically you'd be down.
Is it him down?
Yeah, but we'll do it one more time.
You just want to keep ripping my arm off?
Just for the audience. So say something that would upset me. Just anything. Tell me again how I shouldn't be putting certain things. Ready? You can count to 3. Go. 1, 2, 3.
Your topic selection is terrible.
Dude, please. 1. Come on. 1. Let's go. Come on, Elliot. Come on. Put some strength into this. Let's do this.
Hey, you're strong.
Whatever you want.
You're already pulling.
Here, go.
No,
go.
You're really into this.
Go.
I really don't
You said let's do this. Please grab on. Audience, please enjoy this.
I think they are.
So you can count whenever you want.
Here we go.
1.
Come on.
Just do it. 1. Yeah, that's what I'm giving you. Go.
We give me the head start. Come on.
You can start.
That's insulting.
Okay, I apologize.
That's insulting.
Oh, how do you feel?
What do you
strong.
mean?
Okay, count. 1.
Oh, he's sensitive.
1, 2,
3.
I'll keep you there.
Hey, you won.
All right. Anyways,
you feel better?
No.
Okay.
No.
I don't care.
Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for tuning in. Really appreciate it. Tune in next week for another episode of the Prickle Pear Show. I called it Prickle Pear Show. I didn't call it Prickly
Pear.
as if I don't know my own name.
You should know.
If you have any questions, any suggestions, any challenges, please let us know. And I believe we should do this now with the left hand just to see how good we are. By the way, I'm not a lefty at all. I don't have much strength in it. But just in case. Oh, you are a lot stronger on your left.
Am I?
Yes, you are. I could feel the difference.
All right.
But whenever you're ready.
But I'm a righty.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3.
Oh. I just heard something pop. Was that you or me?
Definitely not me. So, anyways, till next week.
I'm gonna limp off.
Have yourself.
I don't know if I'm gonna turn it off now.
You can just use your finger.
I gotta see my face.